Women often carry themselves with grace, wisdom, and subtlety when they want you to know something, especially when it comes to attraction or emotional connection. They may not spell it out, but they will signal it. The key is knowing what to look for. Lesson 1. Lingering eye contact. Older women often carry a quiet wisdom about them. They've lived through decades of changing fashion, shifting culture, and evolving social norms. One thing they've mastered over the years is subtle communication, and among their most powerful tools is eye contact. Now, eye contact is something we all use, but not always with intention. A younger person might glance around a room, looking to see who's watching. But when an older woman looks at you and holds that gaze, she's saying more than words ever could. This isn't about flirtation, at least not in the playful, youthful sense. This is deliberate, measured, and meaningful. When she holds eye contact, especially during a quiet moment, she might be conveying respect, admiration, trust, or even affection. It's a way of saying, I see you, I understand you, and I want you to see me too. It often happens when you're talking about something personal or meaningful. You may notice her watching you closely, not with judgment, but with quiet curiosity or warmth. That's her way of staying emotionally present with you. If she looks at you across the room and holds that gaze for a few extra seconds, it may be a subtle invitation to engage. She's not going to call out your name or wave frantically. That's not her style. She wants you to notice and to act accordingly. The key here is stillness. Older women are often less reactive than younger ones. They don't rush. When they look at you like that, it's calm, composed, and intentional. You're not just part of the crowd. You're being chosen in that moment for something more meaningful. So, the next time an older woman looks you in the eye and holds that gaze, don't be quick to look away. Don't dismiss it. Instead, pause and return the gaze with equal respect. That moment of silent exchange could be more intimate than hours of conversation. In a world that's always rushing, sometimes the most profound connection is found in a single lingering look. Lesson 2. Thoughtful touches. Older women come from a time when affection wasn't flaunted. It was felt, not flashed. Grand gestures weren't the norm. Instead, small, meaningful touches were how feelings were shared, especially when words didn't feel quite right. When an older woman reaches out to touch your arm during conversation, smooths a wrinkle on your shirt, or gently guides your hand while passing something, these aren't casual or accidental. These are intentional, respectful signs of closeness. This kind of touch is never invasive. It's respectful of space, yet softly personal. It doesn't scream for attention. In fact, it's so subtle that if you're not paying attention, you might miss it entirely. But to her, it's a powerful gesture, a language of care, warmth, and invitation. This kind of woman doesn't touch just anyone. Her personal boundaries are well established. So, if she does place a hand lightly on your shoulder, or lets her fingers linger for a moment longer during a handshake, it likely means something deeper. She's letting you know, I feel safe around you, I trust you, I enjoy your presence. Sometimes, a simple brush of the hand when passing a cup of coffee can carry more emotion than a dozen compliments. It's a signal from her world, a world where touch meant connection, not performance, where a hand on yours during a moment of silence was her way of saying, I'm here for you. And often, these touches happen when no one else is watching. That's how you know they're genuine. They're not about putting on a show. They're about establishing a subtle, sacred kind of bond. The key is to receive it well. Don't overreact. Don't joke it away. Let the moment be what it is, a quiet offering of closeness, a gesture that says more about how she feels than words ever could. In a world increasingly focused on grand statements and digital connection, her touch reminds you of something more grounded, the deep human need to connect quietly, respectfully, and sincerely. So next time you feel that thoughtful hand on your arm or a warm palm on your back in a moment of stillness, don't brush it off. Feel it. Recognize it. That's a language few still speak, but it speaks volumes. Lesson 3. Sharing personal stories. Older women don't open their hearts quickly or recklessly. By the time a woman reaches a certain stage in life, she's likely experienced love, loss, regret, joy, and countless quiet in-betweens. So when she begins to share stories from her past, it's not just reminiscing, it's a signal. It's her way of letting you in. When she starts to talk about her childhood, a long-forgotten dream, or even an old heartache, pay close attention. She's not doing it for small talk. She's offering you a glimpse into the journey that shaped her, one she doesn't reveal to just anyone. These stories are part of who she is. And by choosing to share them, she's silently saying, I trust you enough to let you see the real me. Older women grew up in times when people didn't overshare. Vulnerability was reserved for those who earned it. So if she's telling you about her first apartment, the time she almost packed up and moved across the country, or the heartbreak she never talks about, you're being given something rare. And the beauty of these stories is in their layers. On the surface, it may sound like a memory, but between the lines, there's a lesson, a feeling, or a hope she still carries. Maybe she's showing you how she views loyalty, or how deeply she values perseverance, or how her past love still influences how she sees the world today. The deeper signal? She wants emotional intimacy. She's testing the waters. Can you listen without judging? Can you hear the sadness behind the smile? Do you care enough to remember what she just told you? And when she pauses and looks at you after a story, she's watching to see if you understood not just the facts, but the feelings. If you want to truly connect with an older woman, don't brush off her stories. Don't treat them like old news. Lean in, ask thoughtful questions, let her know you heard her. Because when an older woman shares her past, it's not just a memory, it's a bridge. A soft, strong bridge from her world to yours. Lesson 4. Making time for you. Older women don't waste time. Not theirs, and certainly not yours. They've come to understand just how precious it is. By the time someone has lived through several chapters of life, they've learned to say no to things that drain them, and yes only to what brings meaning, peace, or joy. So when an older woman makes time for you, that's not just convenience, it's intentional. You see, her calendar may not be packed with meetings or nights out anymore, but that doesn't mean her time is free. Quite the opposite. Older women often value quiet routines and peaceful solitude. So if she rearranges a day, adjusts her morning walk, or chooses to sit and talk with you instead of watching her favorite old film or reading her book, she's sending a silent but powerful message: you matter. She may not come right out and say it. She probably won't make a big deal out of it. But if you pay attention, you'll notice the subtle shifts. Maybe she starts texting you first. Maybe she invites you to events she usually keeps private. Maybe she cooks for you, not out of obligation, but because that's how she shows love. That's her language. She values consistency. If she begins to regularly check in on you, if she remembers the details of your week, or even brings up something you mentioned in passing, she's making it clear you're on her mind and in her heart. And let's be honest, at her stage in life, she doesn't need to impress anyone. She's past chasing attention or proving her worth. So when she gives you her time, it's not performance, it's sincerity. You won't get fireworks or dramatic declarations. What you'll get is something rarer: presence. In a culture obsessed with multitasking and fast replies, her attention is full, focused, and undivided. She listens, she remembers, she shows up. So if you're wise, don't take that lightly. Reciprocate, be present in return. Respect her time by not treating it as casual. Because in the quiet way only a woman of grace and experience can, she's telling you, I've seen enough of life to know what's worth my time. and you're one of those things. Lesson 5. Subtle compliments. Older women don't flatter for the sake of being liked. They've seen enough of life to know that words have weight, and that not every compliment is meant to be loud, obvious, or overflowing with enthusiasm. Instead, they offer praise with a kind of grace, a soft-spoken, measured way that makes it feel all the more sincere. When an older woman gives you a compliment, it often comes in the form of observation rather than admiration. She might say something like, "You handled that really well," or "You remind me of someone who always did the right thing, even when it was hard." These aren't just nice things to say. These are signals. She sees you and she approves. You see, her compliments are rarely about appearance alone. She might notice your posture, your tone, or your sense of calm in a room full of noise. She's more likely to praise your character than your style, your actions rather than your words. And she won't pile it on. One sentence, maybe two, that's all. But the way she says it, the timing, the tone, the context, it'll stick with you because it's real. It's rooted in something she observed, felt, and respected. No agenda, no show. Sometimes her compliment may even come wrapped in a story. "My late husband used to stand like that when he was thinking." That's her way of saying, "I see something in you that reminds me of something good, something meaningful." Or it might be tucked into a question. "Have you always been this thoughtful?" That's not just curiosity, it's acknowledgement. These compliments are subtle because they come from a woman who doesn't feel the need to impress or to be impressed. When she gives praise, it's not for effect. It's an offering of respect. And if you're wise, you'll receive it as such. Don't deflect. Just accept it with quiet gratitude. Because when an older woman compliments you, she's letting you know you've earned something. Her regard, her trust, maybe even her affection. And in her world, that's no small thing. Lesson 6. Asking for your help. When an older woman asks for your help, it's never just about the task at hand. Whether it's lifting a heavy bag, changing a light bulb, or figuring out a new phone setting, it's not because she can't do it, or even that she's desperate for assistance. It's far more nuanced than that. She's offering you a moment of shared purpose, a quiet invitation to step into her world, not as a fixer, but as someone she trusts. You see, she's lived long enough to know how to solve most problems on her own. Life has taught her resilience, adaptability, and independence. She's navigated through decades without relying on anyone to carry her through. So, when she asks you for help, it's not weakness, it's deliberate. It's her way of saying, "I feel safe enough with you to let my guard down." ... Older women tend to value dignity. They aren't inclined to burden others. So if she asks you to help her move a piece of furniture or fix something small around her home, it's not just a request. It's a sign that she sees you as capable, reliable, and worthy of being let in. And sometimes, the help she asks for is more emotional than practical. She might say, "What do you think I should do about this?" That's not a casual question. It's a subtle invitation for you to engage with her thoughts, her decisions, even her vulnerabilities. That's real closeness. These requests are often modest on the surface, but if you read between the lines, they're profound. She's testing, gently, your patience, your willingness to serve without pride, and your response to being needed in a world where many only offer help with conditions. And how you respond matters. Not just whether you say yes, but how you show up. Are you kind, attentive? Do you treat her request as meaningful or just a chore? Because she'll notice. In truth, she doesn't need you to solve her life. What she's looking for is this: connection through contribution, a moment shared, a little trust offered, and hopefully something solid built in return. She asks for your help. Don't just see it as a favor. See it as a door she's quietly opened and one she hopes you'll walk through with care. Lesson 7. presence over words. In a world filled with noise, constant notifications, small talk, and social media chatter, older women carry something rare, the ability to speak through silence. For them, presence often means more than conversation, and comfort doesn't require constant dialogue. If an older woman enjoys simply sitting with you, sharing a meal quietly, or walking side by side without filling the space with words, it's not awkwardness, it's intimacy. It's a kind of communication that says, I'm at ease with you. I don't need to perform. I just want to be near. You see, she's lived through enough noise to know that the most important moments often don't require explanation. After all, love, trust, peace, those aren't always spoken, they're felt. And when she chooses to share her silence with you, it means she believes you're someone who can handle that kind of depth. It might look like her sipping tea next to you while reading the paper, or watching the sunset beside you on the porch, saying nothing for minutes at a time. But underneath it all is a powerful truth. She feels safe enough to let the moment breathe. No pressure, no filler, just presence. It's easy to overlook, especially in a culture where we're conditioned to keep the conversation going. But if she doesn't feel the need to fill every silence, it means she trusts that the space between words can still be meaningful. This isn't disinterest, it's comfort, and it's not passive, it's purposeful. She may also use silence to let something sink in. After telling you a personal story or sharing a compliment, she might fall quiet, not to retreat, but to let the moment live, to see how you'll carry it. She's not rushing because she values stillness. She's not retreating because she values you. And if you can sit beside her without looking at your phone, without needing to fix or entertain, if you can just be there, you're giving her a kind of connection that speaks to the soul. So when words fall away, don't panic. Don't fill the air too quickly. Let the silence speak. Let the presence deepen. Because when an older woman shares her silence with you, she's telling you everything you need to know without saying a single word. Conclusion. Thank you for joining me to explore these subtle, timeless signals older women send when they want you to understand without words. In a fast-moving world, their quiet ways remind us that connection is often found in patience, respect, and presence. If you've learned something new or felt a deeper appreciation for these gentle cues, please like and subscribe. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. There's always more wisdom in listening to each other. Until next time, cherish those quiet moments. Take care and see you soon.